everybody. Welcome back to A Freak Sense World with your host, Charlie Freak. And sorry for the little delay in the start of the show, but we've been fighting the bad guys single-handedly. Steve just karate chopped four all by himself. Santos put another one of the bad guys in a headlock. Josh let him free because Josh is all about saving everyone. Josh wasn't even helping us in this fight, but we took them all out. They sent 20 guys to stop the podcast today. We didn't let them. We won. We defeated. I told you, all of you listening, ye of little faith, always it's negative, negative, negative. And I told you, Santos has told you, evil never wins. All good ever has to do is defend is good. It's God. It's goodliness. And so we kicked their butts. We kicked them all. They're gone. Thanks for no help, Josh, by the way, trying to free them. Always worried about everybody. Okay, so welcome to the show. And let's introduce everybody, and we'll just jump right in because this is not going to be near enough time. If we had 12 hours, we wouldn't have enough time. So our wonderful guest on the show today is none other than the legendary comedian who has a British father, I believe, an Australian mother, hails originally from Australia. It's Steve Hughes. So that's just incredible to have Steve on the show. And our special guests on the show today are two geniuses. You know them both. You love them both. It's Santos Bonacci, who truly is a living, walking, breathing genius, and joshX, a living, walking, breathing genius who just tried to help the bad guys. But so welcome to the show, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. I've loosely titled the show for today, The Virus Hoax and our reality in a nutshell, and we're going to crack the code and solve everything today on the show. No pressure at all. So before we get started with Steve, I'm just going to quickly pass it over to Josh for a sec. And Josh is going to start the show with a little etymology, which is his speciality, on certain words that are making the rounds right now, such as coronavirus, and very few people seem to know what they mean. So, Josh, welcome to the show, and if you'd start us with a little etymology, please.
Good evening, everybody. Good day, and I hope you're all well. And I'd like to say that I didn't help the bad guys. There's no such thing as bad or good. It just is.
You got to stop that.
Good day to you all. Good day to you all. So we'll just look at the word corona first, for example. Corona, in standard etymology, as in Oxford or the Merriam-Webster dictionaries, etc., you'll have it attached to the word crown, and crown being a corporate entity that basically runs the world, or it's a coloured circle seen around a luminous body, the edge of a star, or a circle of light made by the convergence of the streamers of the aurora borealis. And at the moment, we are going through a period of time where our grand torus, or the egg, or the cosmic egg, that holds all the micro toruses within inside of it, is coming back to a center point. I did work these dates out with my wonderful partner. So we'll be showing that in another video, but it's been a while since I've looked at them. So there is certain dates and certain times that we can bring to you guys to show you that the Earth will be streaming a jet of wonderful plasma or cosmic energy, that if we can embrace it and we are sensitive and receptive to this energy, then we can transform ourselves and move forward spiritually in a big leap. But we look at the word corona ourselves through the root meaning of etymology that I kind of rediscovered or found within through meditation. You see the word co in it, which is to join, and R is the 18th letter in the alphabet, which represents a full magnetic torus, or the Bible. And then you see the O and the N, which could represent on, or the vibrational end of alpha. So it's to join the full magnetic vibration to the alpha. Then we have the word virus. Now the V and the I used together, if you look at other words with V and I, you'll see victory, you'll see vision, you'll see violet, you'll see virtues, you'll see violin. Now it means the V is number 22 in the alphabet, which is the master number. The I is number 9 of the feminine, so it's the feminine mastered, and the full magnetic U sine wave. If you reverse it for the ultimate truth, you'll see the sine wave of U in full magnetic feminine mastered light. So, and even if you look at the word COVID, which is another clue they've given us, it means to join the VI form, which is D. So joining the feminine full magnetic form, to join the full magnetic vibration of on the alpha and the feminine full magnetic U sine wave. So COVID-19 coronavirus is basically expressing itself honestly to us to join forces with the Z wave or the Zion or the ion, which is the longitudinal wave that we need to connect our higher selves with. And if I go on to the adrenochrome, because you wanted to touch the word adrenochrome, because that's been going on recently. If we look at the word adrenochrome itself via standard etymology, you'll see that Greek chrome means color, and color would be to co, our L being 12 and being one side of the torus. So a color spectrum of light is the 7 incandescent colors in its holistic form. So chrome would also mean all of those colors together. Adrenal is basically the adrenal glands. So it would mean the light from the adrenal glands. In the, say, root meaning of etymology, it would be the alpha form rightfully establishing, ending the vibration, seeing the full magnetic vibration nor void of the mother's ether. So adrenal chrome would allow the being taking it to see certain parts of the etherical field that one wouldn't see without it. But again, it's a falsifying form, it's a synthenoid, and it would desensitize yourself to the truth, so it would never be the same, and it would take you away from the true light. So someone that's in search of the light that is not doing the work or working through the virtues would never find this true path. So it's a way of synthesizing some sort of information from the ether to try and attain the information that you can find through the work of God, if that makes any sense. And in doing so, you know, they're just trying to have an altered perception, an experience of the unseen world in the seen world, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, it does, Josh. That was brilliant, and thank you very much for doing that. And another basic aspect to the word corona as well. If you look at it, there are 6 letters in the word corona, so you have a 6. And then if you take the numerical value of each of the letters, so C being the 3rd letter, so it has a numerical value of 3, etc., and you simply count up the numerical value of those 6 letters, it adds up to 66. So when you look at the word corona itself, it's well chosen by them because what these people do, we will call the cabal. The cabal are just, remember, it all relates back biblically, allegorically to the Bible, and essentially the story of Cain and Abel. Now, there were no Cain and Abel. It's just Cain and Abel are the allegory for the left hemisphere of the brain and the right hemisphere of the brain. Cain killed Abel because Cain can't handle the light of God, cannot handle to be free. The left brain is ruled over by the false crown of Chronos, which is the ego, the human ego. And that's who these people are. So ultimately, we give them names like the Illuminati, we give them names like the Phoenicians. Santos taught us all that, and that is absolutely correct, because when the Canaanites were kicked out of the Holy Land, kicked east of Eden, east of east is west, and just over the rolling hills of the Holy Land is right down to the beautiful shores of the Mediterranean, this incredibly fertile land known as Phoenicia. And from there, the Canaanites have spread out. And they've done all of this to us. from those humble beginnings on the shores of the Mediterranean. But what we're dealing with are people who live exclusively out of the left hemisphere of the brain. And so the word corona is well chosen by them because, again, it shows their key number, which is 666. And again, for all of you listening, everything is a duality. Please do not automatically go off half-cocked because it's 666 devil and all this stuff that the literalist Christians believe because they're being lied to by the Pharisees and the scribes of the church. 666 is a choice. You can be goodly, godly with 666. Beautiful, beautiful number. 6 plus 6 plus 6 is 18, which is chi, the energy of life, which is the letter R, the magnetism rising, kundalini. And 1 plus 8 is 9, which is divine. To be 9 is to be divine because 9 is God consciousness. So these are beautiful, beautiful numbers. 6 is the number of man. It's our journey. There are 6 in-body chakras. That's the journey of life that we're all on. 6 and 6 is 12, which is completion. And everyone surrounding Jesus, or the concept of the Christos, is 12. 12 cranial nerves, 12 constellations. It goes on and on and on. It's the number 12. And if you go 12, 1 plus 2 equals 3. And that is the basis to everything. Everything is the Father, the Mother creating the resurrected man, the resurrected child, which is 3. So these are beautiful, beautiful numbers. Or it's the mark of a beast. It's where you choose to be. That's the coronavirus. And for myself, I still don't even know ultimately who coined the term. Was it the black hats, the evil cabal, the Canaanites of the left brain, or actually is it this group of white hats, the right brainers, those goodly, godly who are helping us to take back this reality from these sick, diseased left brainers, because it works perfectly for both sides. It really does. So 666 is well chosen. Corona is well chosen. The whole goal of man is the crown. So I said the journey of man is the number 6, 6 in-body chakras to illuminate Ajna, the 6th in-body chakra, the third eye chakra. Right. What does that do? Because it illuminates 7. God intervention, 7, 7, 7, which is the crown chakra above your skull. The crown chakra above your skull is what we must do to transcend 2 worlds into 1. It's everything, and that's why Corona has been chosen as this word. And ultimately, it's a choice. You're either a carnivore who is falsely feeding off of everything else for your survival, take, or you're a frugivore. And that's what we are. I'm going to end with this and pass it over to Steve and Santos. We'll continue on, but I'm going to leave this with this notion with you folks, and it's a key one. So follow my common sense here. The vast majority of people have bought into this bull crap lie from the system, from the cabal, that we have evolved from monkeys. I didn't evolve from a monkey. If you want to believe that, I guess it's up to you, but we didn't. But the vast majority of you believe this, including the vast majority of Christians. Yike. That's kind of a cognitive dissonance, and you might want to check that out. But so you believe that you evolved from a monkeys. Now, what are monkeys? They're frugivores. What do? They live in small groups. They're family-oriented. They're loving. They're community-oriented. They're thin. They eat raw foods only, mostly fruits, some vegetables, some seeds, some nuts, but mostly just fruits. They're athletic. They're agile. They are brilliant, quick thinkers. Yeah, sort of how we used to be and what we're supposed to be. We're frugivores, 100%. There's nothing about our physiology, inside or out, that is different from the frugivores. So here you go. You want to believe that we evolved from monkeys, But when it comes to eating your meals, you want to believe that we are lions, tigers, and these carnivorous creatures with these big fangs and tiny little digestive systems because they just rip and tear and shred and then it goes right out of them. No, that's not us. So you're living an upside down world. You're living an upside down reality because it's on you. It's your choice to wear the right proper crown of Christ Jesus, the seventh chakra, illuminated with purple, gentle purple rain above you, or to wear the false crown of Kronos down in your Muladhara or root chakra, down in hell, down where your bowels are, down where it stinks, where life stinks, and we're all screwed over by the system. That's your choice. That's the coronavirus, which is a perfect anagram for carnivorous. That's what this is all about. So with this established, the true basis of what's going on here established, let's bring Steve into the show now. And I apologize for all of that, Steve, but I just really wanted to lay the deck out clear for everyone as we got started here. So as we pass it over to you, let's start by giving us an update as to why you're in London in the first place, why you're not doing anything in London right now, and then we'll work our way into all of this heady information about the crown. So welcome to the show, Steve. We love you. You're a living legend.
Well, hello, thank you. Why I am in the UK was obviously, I was in Australia for 6 years. I come back to do a tour, and then I did 3 weeks of gigs in clubs, and then they decided to stop the planet. which strangely enough, as much as it seemed, as I even wrote one day on social media, I've just been nominated for the worst timed comeback in entertainment history. But I think, because Australia is a very, it takes police states pretty quickly these days. It kind of likes getting, it's not the country I grew up in at all, and I kind of, maybe my fucking soul was going, get out of here before this hits. Because Australia, it cracks down pretty quick these days, pretty hard, you know. And I don't know what the UK is going to turn into, because obviously, you know, Australia's from the UK originally and so forth. But yeah, I'm thinking, maybe it's good that I'm not there, but I'm like everybody else. I'm just dealing with this stuff. I think I was going to do a tour. That's not going to happen. Of course, today, with like listening to this stuff, I'm quite willing to. I totally want to listen to this stuff. I'm no expert in any of this stuff. My job, I already see. I'm kind of on the front line because we're in a mind control war, aren't we, as well?
Yes.
And I've never seen this level of utter obedience with no questioning in my life. And I've never seen anything as drastic as this. Well, I don't think the Earth has ever seen anything as drastic as shutting down the planet. But people used to kind of think, didn't they? Like, right? Like, and just if you had something as radical as stopping a planet, surely you'd have someone come on the TV and go, who's apparently an expert, because that's the word they love, don't they? Scientist and expert. And then surely you'd have someone come on from the other side and go, well, I've been a doctor for 40 fucking years. I don't think you should be doing this. Can we hear the other side? But we haven't heard the other side once. And so it's just swamped, isn't it? And so you're sitting there going, you have to try and gently, because like when I do comedy, I'm apparently controversial or whatever I'm supposed to be named or labeled, right? And then, but they don't know that I don't go anywhere near a lot of the stuff that I actually know. Do you know what I mean? Because
absolutely.
Because you can't frighten them off. So there's no way that the stuff the other two guys here, and you could talk about, you just go out or just chuck that at the general public, they'll fucking go insane. Right? There's what going on in the universe? There's vibrational energy and numbers and words are linked up so that things vibrate into subconscious patterns of archetypes and they could control you. Like they'd be like, what the fuck are you going on about? So I'm still on the ground on the front lines trying to go, I've just got to try and get them to stop believing the fucking news, right? So when I'm at that hump, because I haven't realised if I'm with some person who's kind of not complete, doesn't know anything. So they may know a few things or thinks something's up and different. But even then when I say, let's look at this from an angle like this, say it's an old thing that just everyone believes, Hitler's the evilest guy that's ever existed, or, just believe these things. Right? So then you might just ask someone to go, let's deconstruct your idea around what Adolf Hitler is. And I just watch their insides just churn. Like it's so connected to it. Like there's one way. You can't think of anything different about Adolf Hitler. You can't. There's just one story. He was bad. They were good. He did bad things. They came in, stopped him.
Wow. Yeah.
So when you're watching them just sort of inside, they're in, because if you're 50 years old, then you've got 50 years of that thing in you, haven't you? And so if you can't question it, because your own morals come into view in your own head, I think. And next minute, I can't think anything else but that, because I'll be a bad person. And so I think we're in this kind of, we've got to unstitch these people from just this swamp of propaganda that they've been drowned in for decades, from films and TV and news and movies and lies and things, and they're just I don't think they actually, and because they've been broken down with the food and the TV and the drugs and the pharmaceuticals and the mind control and the propaganda, because I think thought needs some foundational idea to wrap itself around, doesn't it? So you can create a direction of what the fuck you think you're thinking about.
That's exactly right.
But if they haven't got any information, and they've got so much stuff coming into them, so much fucking, they just end up almost lying down like a dog because they just don't know what to fucking do.
Yeah.
And so because their mind goes, well, like, because they don't have anything and they haven't read anything. They don't. So sometimes if you're looking at someone, you realize walking down the street, you go, that person knows nothing.
Yep.
And then they're horrible people or dumb, and they might they're just a person, aren't they? That maybe just doesn't thought about it, or maybe it's not their karma to think about it in this lifetime. They might have kids or a mortgage and stuff, and they're caught in the system, that thing, and so. But you realise if you don't know anything, and you just think that, horrible germs got out, and lucky for us that everyone's so responsible, they've shut down the planet, and the good scientists will make a cure, and then they'll give it to us, and we can all go back to yoga. And no.
Wow, Steve, let me interject there for a sec, because what I want to say is that's brilliant. And it is. And I know Josh and Santos would agree.
I think it's just common sense. I don't even see myself as fucking brilliant or anything, because it's just like, come on, people.
But that's right. But a possession of common sense in this day and age is genius and is brilliance, because it is just beaten the heck out of us from the moment they birthed us from the great waters onto their land that they somehow magically own. It's incredible. So what you just said, Steve, is the basis to it's the undercurrent, it's the truth behind what's really going on. And what's really happening is that this is, as you call it, a planet, which is just the plane of inertia, as Santos teaches, the level plane of inertia, the flat plane of the Earth. And it's filled with beautiful, brilliant people who go around like Homer Simpson. And again, it's not meant to be horribly derogatory, but it's the truth. And
now, do you know what? Well, sorry to interrupt you, but it's funny you mentioned Homer Simpson, because just the other day I was thinking, because your sort of atheist scientific dictatorship drones, right? Those smug motherfuckers, And so anything religious is just ridiculous to them, and then or spiritual.
That's right.
But when you watch, I said to them, but if you have like in the past, didn't people have gods and stuff, right? So they have a higher power. So if you have understanding of a higher power, a god or anyone, you're harder to tyrannize or dominate, because will the man give in to let any man dominate him when he knows that no one man can dominate him, because only God has supreme fucking power, right? So I think that's why they fear the religious. The state is more scared of Ned Flanders than Homer Simpson. Do you know what I mean? Wow. So they mock Ned Flanders, and they make him out to be a dickhead because he's got family values and morals, and he's so dumb that he doesn't even know when Homer and that mock him, right? Because they're scared of Ned Flanders, but they want a lot of Homer Simpsons. That's why Homer's lovely, and he's an absolute fucking imbecile. And if he was your friend, you wouldn't hang around him. But when you watch him on TV, you kind of go, "Isn't he a funny old thing?"
Wow.
But he's not. He's a fucking imbecile, right?
Steve, again, that is brilliant, and that's absolutely true. That's exactly what they're doing, and that's exactly what they do, because to be able for the few to control the many, you can't have a rock to go back to. And again, this is the basis, and I'm going to bring Santos in to the conversation now, because this is the basis of what Santos has taught the world for the past decade plus years. Of this beautiful sweet gnosis, and that's why ultimately, like Santos says himself, that he is a powerful Christian, because his theology is astro theology, and that is the story taught in the night sky, which tells us that we are all connected, we're all one, and we're all brilliant, and that we have godlike powers within us, which is the opposite of what they want. That's not what they want at all. So Santos, I'm going to bring you in, and you can respond to all of that beautiful gnosis from Steve.
First of all, I want to say I'm so absolutely thrilled to be here with you, Steve. I'm
Hello, cutting out. Santos still, who's there?
Yeah,
I'm here.
Santos is in Oaxaca, and we've had Santos on the show a lot, and the signal's been great. But today he was just saying, for some reason, that the signal has been cutting out. So very interesting. Josh, let's go back to you until Santos comes back, my friend.
Yeah, I think he's back. Are you there, Santos?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Got you now.
Oh, great. Alrighty. So, first of all, I just want to say I'm absolutely thrilled to be here with you, Steve. I really respect you. Absolutely adore your humour and share it with as many people as possible. And to help them, because the way you are bringing the
Santos, you're still cutting out heavily. Santos, if you can hear me, maybe disconnect from the feed and then phone back into the show. And sometimes a new connection will clear the problem, because boy, we would sure love to be able to, and I know Steve would love to be able to hear what you're saying. And Steve, Santos, it really means what he says. He has been a huge admirer and supporter of your work, sharing it. And I don't know if you know, but Santos has got something like 150,000 followers on YouTube. A really intelligent group of people that have chosen to link with him, and we all do, Josh included. We revere your work. Josh, let's go back over to you, my friend, and you can speak what you were going to say to Steve.
Yeah, I was just saying, for a little bit of logic for the listeners, that government is an idea created by man. So logically thinking, how can an idea created by man tell man what to do? It's like man trying to express to God to change something that's been created. It's not logical, and it's not plausible or possible. The only thing that there are out there is for the unaware. Thought forms have been put there in a matrix of information via the TV, the media, etc., to attach to the mind. And as you were saying earlier, Steve, that people who have no information or any logic or any reasoning or any common sense, they don't know what to do with this information, so they have to just follow this form. But the idea of thought forms being inserted into our mind is for us to overcome, because we've been disconnected from the source, and we're in an experience of duality. In divided duality is individuality, and we're here to overcome these thought forms here. So we're watching the illusion play itself out, but most people are experiencing it inside through the chemical reactions created by the mind, which is the only thing we need to overcome. So we're trapped here in the illusory world via these thought forms, and we do need information, and then translate that to gnosis, knowledge, and then wisdom to find our way out of here, back to God.
Yeah, big time. Well, I was thinking just the other day with this whole scenario. Well, if there's that, because I'm not well versed like you and Santos and Charlie about all this stuff, but I sort of, it's in my, so I know about certain ages where does it go into Kali Yuga, this kind of stuff, this darkness, does this great, because I just had a breakdown for 5 years of adrenal fatigue and depression and going into psych med world, which I had to get off. That whole breakdown gave me so much fucking information in the sense of just this dark night of the soul, like brutal depression, brutal. Like stunningly fucking buy rope to hang yourself, can't function, get out of the house, brutal. For 5 fucking years. And getting off psych meds, a world I never expected to go into. But I was at such, I burnt myself out so much, the universe had been tapping me on the shoulder for fucking ages. I just sit down. But through that darkness, I go, well, and strange enough, just the other day through a reading a book from a wrestler, I started to see, I don't think people want to go into pain. And I think the transformation has an element of pain to it, because they have to shatter their reality. So there's a pain to that. But we're living now in the world, especially if they want to, especially what's happening with this scenario where pharmaceutical companies are running around mouthing off, because their entire ethos is no pain, just anesthetize the pain. And so I sit there and I go, well, you're either going to go into the pain of this dictatorship slavery, or you can face the other pain and come out the other side in fucking paradise.
Again, that's just brilliant, Steve. And that is, again, the heart and soul of what's happening here. By not allowing, and all of this really stems out of your brilliance with the I'm offended. That's
what I mean. That's the first time I really, you're these PC people, you're saying to me in one sense that, I want good rights for the gays and this, and everyone's oppressed and blah, blah, blah. But you're sitting there going, but what you're ostensibly saying to me is you'd like a world without pain. No one's ever oppressed. No one's ever can't get a job because they're gay. No one's ever upset. You can't do jokes about like that anymore because someone might get uncomfortable, upset. You've gotten people down to where they can't even be uncomfortable. So you're sitting there with, yeah, that's the fucking matrix, right? So people are running around now going, you can't even say this in a comedy club in case you make someone feel uncomfortable. Excuse me, you've got to go through massive transformationary pain.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
the reason of the physical experience. Without the physical experience, without the pain, without the thoughts, we need not be here. We might as well be animals.
I know. And I don't want to lord it around like, oh, what a smart guy, as if I've never made any mistakes in my life. I made a fucking lot, which is why I had a breakdown. But the mistakes, well, there's got to be gold in there. I think I've got some good karma and some lucky souls somewhere, because I always managed to crawl out, right? And it was fucking deep. It was fucking hard. 5 years,
Coming out of it, brother, do you mind if I ask you that if obviously my stakes is my stakes in the game, and the issue is you. So inner standing and coming out of that sort of paradigm that you were in, do you see now that it was only your thoughts and the forms of thought that were attached to you that you just needed to overcome?
I don't know if it's just thoughts in the sense, because obviously everything's connected, so things are playing roles. So, I did blow my body out, you know what I mean? Just from overwork, not dealing with processed trauma that I didn't process my upbringing was a fucking nightmare, which is why I'm a great comedian, probably. So I didn't deal with that. I'm starting to hit my mid-40s. I think the body and the emotions, or your soul or something, goes, hey, mate, you got to look at this. You're going to look at this?
Yeah.
And then if you're not going to look at it and you're going to fucking, run around and not sleep enough and work at night for 30 years and never take breaks and do fucking 300 shows a year, and then eventually we're going to go, mate, so we're going to smash your physical body into a state of like, well, I can look at the breakdown as almost like if you don't listen, like a society, if you people don't start fucking listening and waking up, your body politic will break down. And the structure, which is probably a good thing, because the great structure needs to be fucked. I listened to a guy today who was very well-spoken and wonderfully, could talk with you three guys, easily, brilliantly. But he says, he goes, the great thing he loved, he goes, well, the big beast system needed to be stopped, and it stopped. They put it on hold. So this is the kind of thing you need to have put on hold to stop, to get away from it. Like to fucking, he could say it more eloquently and with the kind of words that you understand how deep this guy is than me. You understand? But I got what he meant. Like, yeah, it's bang. Hey, because in one sense, how does anyone? I used to think this. We're not even allowed to carry a knife, and presently we're not allowed to go out of our fucking house. Now, I don't have access to armies, media, empires, bio fucking weapons, robots. Control of the food, the water, the law, the money, the electricity. I don't have hold. So how am I going to beat that in a physical war? I'm not. So I think we reach this age where you go, well, you've got to go in, don't you?
They've literally, that's the beauty of their system. They'll always lose because they can't help it. The left brain will always lose because the ego can't stand anyone, including itself. So it'll always start to chew off its own arm in spite of itself. So that's brilliant, Steve, that they have pushed us to the answer. And the answer is staring each and every one of us right square in our three eyes. And it really does. It takes three eyes to be able to see the plain, level truth that is right there in front of us.
Well, that's why sometimes I think if you can wake them up slowly, although you do get frustrated when you go, my God, do you know nothing? I've done this for 20 fucking years, and I'm no expert on all these things, but, and I'm not as committed as some of you guys, but it's like, everything from shamanism to fucking Buddhism to non-dualism to spirituality to black magic to what do these people get into? What suddenly you realize, if you know nothing, how am I going to try and talk to you? And like,
you just need to be the spark, my friend.
Yes,
that's all
exactly.
You are. You're the light that leads the way,
So I was going to say, it's like sometimes my brain takes me off fucking course. Oh, but I was thinking there, yeah, so in this situation, your two choices are pain, but you can have a consciously chosen pain to wake up, or you can have the pain that they're going to bring you if they fucking lock you down.
Yeah.
And so either path's got pain, but which one do you want? Because one will give you salvation and one will give you a brutal dictatorship unseen in the fucking universe.
And that's the beautiful struggle for either the that follows or the seeker that goes through the narrow gate.
Yeah.
And there's two choices there. Every time the duality is there. And I see this as the matrix, because the matrix is the mother's tricks. And we are here a part of the world, but we're here in the duality world. So as consciousness is the expression of God, it works through people or the unconscious. Now, the unconscious world is expressing itself via this system that people are seeing now, the oppressive, but in two ways, again, because it's dualistic. The oppression can take you further down into depression, or it can almost take you to a point of there's no more that you can take, so it's freeing in itself. So again, this coronavirus happening right now is allowing people to be at home, to be with their families, to reconnect, to have time to think, to see that there's something going on, to give them time. But on the other side of it, people that aren't seeking and aren't trying to see anything through the eyes of this media, they are just being led down a dark, deep path that will only lead to more destruction and more separation from source. So this experience that we're having as consciousness here to find our way back to the true source, if you just see it as it is what is supposed to be, and we are where we're supposed to be, and we do need to make the right choices every day. This is the righteous path. And when we do, and we are in a state of meditation, and this doesn't mean just sitting down and holding your hands, it means being in balance with the thoughts and the emotions, and understanding that your thoughts are there for a very good purpose, but you should not take mind to these thoughts. You must overcome the thought, recognize them, because my brothers and sisters out there, you are looking from what you are looking for, and you are the eyes of God, but you must recognize or recognize that within you is source, and you have just been, or the waters of your body have been murky or murkified by your perception and your persona, and your persona is the mask that is in front of your spiritual nature.
Yep, big time. And it's funny you say looking from what you are to what you want. Is that what you said?
You're looking from what you're looking for.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. And it's almost like, it's a great title of Dead Can Dance, that band. There's a great title they have of one of their albums called Toward the Within.
Yes.
And also there's a great saying from this Indian guy I heard once, who just went, man can't find God because it's as close as his jugular.
We must not fall trap to the lies. If you look at the word lies backwards, it says see ill. The illusion is the ill-u sine wave ion. Backwards is the noise you lie. And in here, we must just see the truth, but we will only see it by seeking. That's why you see king. And king is the man that wears the crown or the corona.
Exactly. And I'm just going to project here because, we've really, which is amazing, that our energies have synchronized us to this moment, because really the whole issue of what's going on all relates back. Everything always relates back to one thing, because that's the truth. You're either living the truth or you're not. So it's an either or situation. That's why everything is a polarity. You have the light is on or it's off. I mean, it just is. And so what Steve talked about today, and what Josh has been poeticizing to us as well, is that when you operate from a belief system, you are in big trouble, because a belief system is passive. It means you're a passive learner. You sit back, and just any one of you, if you're going to try and rebel against that thought, just cast your mind back to grade 3 or grade 5, and just think about these experiences where you attempted to express some of your individuality in class, or perhaps your own viewpoint or take on a certain subject matter. What happened? Shut up. That's wrong. That's not the right answer. The right answer is in that dictionary over there. It's in that encyclopedia written by the Rockefellers. That's the answer. Shut up and regurgitate. And if you step out of line, we're not going to let you go to the 6th grade. And you can stay here, not until you get smarter. No. You can stay here until you get with the program, right?
You know what's funny about school? You talk about school. I went there and just went, how fucking quickly can I get out of here?
Yes.
There's nothing in here for me. There's some, all right, I'm not a complete, you've got to think and read and write, but like really, 16 years for what?
You're done by the age of 10, aren't you, really? You don't need any more than... Yeah.
No, you're fucking done.
No.
What have I fucking doing after this?
To be given the true knowledge or the true gnosis, then it would have been handed to us. And really within us, we do need to seek. And that's why I revert it back to that, because we're here for an experience. In this world that we believe is real, in the word belief itself, it says be lie, and an F is number 6, which represents matter. So belief in itself is a lie to the material form. So everybody that believes has not seeked nothing. And this is why seek is to see the K. And K is the 11th letter in the alphabet, which is L even, which means balancing out the 2 L's of the Taurus within the being. And the language will always set us free. So if we just take a little bit of time to be still and sometimes just observe what's around us.
Oh man, it gets. Well, I was about to say that the stuff you're talking about now. I was thinking about doing a comedy show. I was thinking, yeah, you want to open with that stuff?
They'd be yawning and
just come out and hit them with that. Yeah. I know you're all out on a Friday night to have some beers and eat fried chicken, but check this out.
But it is beautiful, because even if you look at the word beautiful, it's Beautiful. It says B, AU, which is gold, and TI, pi, and full. So to be beautiful, it's to be pi of gold, which is the pure sun or the pure light or pure consciousness. And everything is hidden in the word. As in, an aura is AU, and Ra. Ra is the sun, and AU is gold. So your aura is the golden sun. And that is the seven and dozen colors of light in this physical reality. And a rainbow is Ra in a bow, and Ra in the sun. Language can never lie to you, and language does express itself honestly via consciousness. So if one can be, observe it, they will only find the secrets of the universe put here for us to see. But we've done it ourselves. We've created it ourselves. And this is what's so magical about everything in this world, because once you have the eyes to see it, for example, if I say magical, it's the mother G-I cool. Now, magical comes from the word magnetic, and you have the mother G net IC. And if you look at the magnetic field, you'll see it's a net. And then if you look at the word mathematics, you'll see it's the matrix. Now, mathematics is just the movement of the mother. The matrix. Matrix is matrix, it's the mother's tricks. And it's all for us to see, Chakra being the house of the sun. Ra. Shak is a house and Ra is of the sun. And he lives within us. So everything is for us to see. Imagine you were a genie. I'm a genie. Imagine. And we have all of these things for us to find once we start to see the truth. And it's beautiful. It is really beautiful.
Oh, it absolutely is, Josh. And again, a word like imagination. I mean, literally, that's what it's saying. You have to have the single eye, the third eye, and then you become the magi, the magician from the east that comes west, sharing wisdom and knowledge for everybody else. The problem is that if you don't ever connect to this one story, that's, by the way, written in the night sky, it's written in the Holy Land, it's written in all of these ancient scriptures. If anyone ever taught you how to read these sacred documents, which is that they're just fantastical tales, they're just allegories, they're beautiful, and they're just written that way so you'll never forget them, and you won't miss the meaning. It's so simple. It's so simple. But when a pastor with a six-figure salary and his whole reality, including his house and car, are all based upon shoveling lies to you, he's going to continue shoveling lies to you. So when you're a passive learner, you're a victim. When you're an aggressive learner, then you can set yourself free. And the only thing that will set yourself free is the truth. And the truth only exists one place, and that's inside of you. And that's the one place they can't go. But it's the one place you don't go.
Oh, and that's funny. Yeah, it's a good way. It's funny. It's a good way to say it.
Well, and it also just relates back. You guys were talking earlier, just quickly, about persona. Persona comes from the Greek word Persephone, and Persephone is a mask wearer. And the really sad thing about this reality that, Steve is going out there night after night doing these shows, looking into the faces of hundreds, if not thousands of people in the audience. They're all just wearing masks. They have no idea who they are. They have no idea that they are sitting on a gold mine. Everything with the human being is AU. Everything is OR. One of the first things that people will do when they get sick is they'll disassociate themselves from the fact that when they get sick, they begin to urinate a lot more. And people just dismiss it. It's just probably, a side effect of being sick. When you start to urinate more because you're diseased, a pathogen is in you, it just means you're ill at ease somewhere. It's normally just a thought. And when you're at ill at ease, the body produces copious amounts of urine, okay? UR is OR. OR is AU, and AU is gold. Your urine is the most fantastically filtrated system of absolute purity that exists. Now, try opening a comedy show with that line, Steve. You know, drink your urine to get healthy and get wise, and they'll stone you off the stage.
Mate, I've been stoned off the stage just for doing a few feminist jokes.
Yeah, it's wonderful. If I could just maybe just put a few synchronicities that might help people see with a certain language. We're talking about this coronavirus and the government, etc. If we look at the word progress, yeah, and we look at the word congress, I mean, can people see that a pro is for you and a con is against you? So if you're looking for progress and you have someone called Congress, they are really working against your progress.
Yes.
Then you have someone governing your mental state, government. You have a parliament, and they paralyze to the ment. We have a Bible, which means two bulls, which is a part of the two Tauruses that we'll get into probably later on in this chat. But we have the Testament, and the Bible is a test for the mind. It's a test of mind. If anybody doesn't know that ment is Latin for mind, then if you look at things like measurement, you'll see that it says me, a, sure, ment. So you would measure something to have a sure mind. You have a document. Do, see, you, meant. Do see your mind. So the document is there to see your mind. Now, in this illusory world, we have choices every day to make. Now, that world's put there for the people that don't understand and don't take any time out of their day to see themselves and take control of their own life. But we do live in a world of consent. Now, if people aren't aware, then it's just not their time to be aware of this yet. But in this system, it's a penal system, which is pen all, which is all pen. And people sign their nature away by the signature. Okay. And you have prison sentences, and prison sentences take away the son, prize son, from the person. And the sentence is the word that you spoke to get yourself put in prison. Now, what we need to understand is that we're in a world of wonderfulness. But also, if we don't seek this wonderfulness, we will be taken down a path that leads to destruction. Just for example, if we just look at the words where we're birthed into the world, where are we encased? We're encased in the placenta, which is the place you enter. Then your mother has a contraction, and then you are birthed into the dock by the doctor. And then you are written on a board of manifest, and then your mother signs you over and registers you. Regis means of the king or of the crown, which is the crown corporation. Now you've created a person or a legal identity that beings whom are unaware create contracts with their physical body, and inside the physical body lays the spiritual nature of the man. Now, what's happening is it's only spiritual in this world, but people have ideas and beliefs that believe this is all material, but it's all just a thought. Now, once we can understand this, we can see that the illusory world put it for us is not so difficult to work around. I mean, the waters of the sea that's put here, the words are there for us to see with maritime admiralty law as well, because we have, for example, the driver. Now, D is the letter 4 in the alphabet, which represents form. And if you look at 4, it says F, hour, and hour, F is our matter, as F is 6. But in this illusory world to do with the commerce, we have, driver is D river. So you are on the form of the river. And then they have cement for the roads, and cement is to the sea mind, or the mind of the sea. Now we have merchants and merchandise, and mermaid is sea maid, and merchant is the sea chant. So all we need to do is just try to see these things and hear what I'm trying to say here, and you'll find something within this, because busyness is just busyness, and it keeps you off the truth. The police are just policy, and they're here as off-icers, because if you're not on the ice, getting just ice, and you are in the waters, then they have jurisdiction over you. But as Jesus did, he jumped off the ship, the citizenship, and walked on the waters, because the power of God was within him. as is with you, because every being out here who chooses to see the truth and the light within his own being has power to overstand any single thing that has been put here for your obstruction.
No, that makes it perfectly clear. I knew a lot about the maritime. I never thought of the sea meant. That's an interesting one. Another one.
Yeah.
It's all over that place.
It's incredible, brother. You have the currency of the banks. You have a bank, which holds the flow of the water. You have offshore accounts. You have cash ISAs. You have frozen assets. You have bankrupts. It's incredible.
Your mother's water breaks.
Yep. And then if you haven't got any cash or currency, you can't afford something, and afford stops the flow of water, so you cannot buy it.
Yeah.
And then if you look at the dictionary, brother, we have, the dictionary is made by Oxford. So if the Oxford, O is the void or the vibration of everything that attains within, and X means perfect balance. But the Ford is the thing that blocks the flow of water to you. So what the dictionary is trying to say to you is this information within is going to stop the flow of the truth to you.
There you go.
Well, and I'm gonna pass it back over to you, Steve, in just a sec, because I want you to take what Josh has just contributed here and tie it back to what you were talking about earlier, because this is the reality. This is where we find ourselves, the whole world in a lockdown over a coronavirus. And so with everything you're with the truth or you're not. And if you have the truth, that's the truth. And if you don't have the truth, well, you can call it just about anything. Essentially, what it's been worked to is the news or information. And, again, these are clever words to take you away from the one word. And the one word is truth. And you would use it if you were speaking the truth, because the truth is everything. And it's the goal of all things is to unite us through the truth. So if you're speaking the truth, you would say it. So if the nightly news was about the truth, they would say this is the 6 o'clock truth. But they don't. They say it's the 6 o'clock news, because they're telling you in plain sight that what is about to proceed is a lie. They're going to congress you with lies. And so this goes back to what Steve was just saying earlier, that we have this entire world, entire populace, not virtually everyone, but almost. I mean, everybody is a believer in something instead of a knower. The difference, a knower knows the truth and is connected. That's the K now, like Josh always likes to say, now, K now. To know something is the letter K. You see the single line, which is God, and then you see the line above coming to the center. That's the higher mind, the spiritual mind from the blue sky heaven. And then you have another line going down. And that is the left-hand path. That's the red line that's going down into the earth. Those are our two worlds, physical, metaphysical, and it's to unite. After the K is now, because that's the moment. That's all that exists is the moment. There's no such thing as linear time. There's no such thing as a past or a future when all that can possibly exist is the now. And nobody lives in the now, because commerce takes us away through fear, takes us away through ever focusing on the now. Because if you stopped, like Steve said earlier, and felt a little bit of pain for the situation you've created for yourself, you'd actually learn something. No. They don't want that. Take a pill. If you're thinking too much, take a pill. If your brain's, take a pill, take a pill, take a pill. Don't feel pain. Why? Because if you start to feel pain, you'll do something about it. But if you constantly self-medicate yourself through lies, then you'll dissipate the pain. Although it'll always come back, because that's all you are. You're just a false persona, a Persephone. You're just a mask. You're a lie. You're not yourself. And like Steve said, to go through those horrible, horrible years that he did of that earth-shattering pain, it forces you to do something. And like Steve said, to crawl out of it. Somehow he crawled out of it. And that's what we have to do. And if we're going to talk about the white hats and people working to take down this ugly cabal and to bring back a real world. Well, what does that all mean? If we haven't learned anything for ourselves through this, if we haven't changed anything within ourselves, if we haven't come to know any truth, then it doesn't matter if somebody presses the reset button. 20 years, we'll be right back here again with the next group of liars that come along with self-medicating drugs so that you don't ever go within, feel the pain, and change. So I'm going to pass it back over to you, Steve, and you can just expand on this, because with the coronavirus, people are in freak out mode over something that can't possibly exist, because, and I may have started an avalanche on the social media a couple of weeks ago, because I did an article about what a virus actually is. A virus is not a living form. To be living, a medical dictionary says that it has to be cellular in form. Cells breathe, they respire, they intake sustenance, and then they excrete, and of course they multiply and divide. So that's what modern science tells us constitutes life. Has to be cellular based to be alive. A vibration or a virus is a vibration, is a secretion. So technically, a virus is not alive. Okay, and modern science doesn't even begin to try and take you anywhere from that with a lie. No, they admit that it's not, but it's hanging out there deviously. It's on a bus bench. Oh, it's on a signpost. It's on the ugly breath of the ugly person across from you, sneezing and coughing upon you on public transportation. These dead secretions that are made by Santa Claus in the colostrum that controls your subtle endocrine system within you, a little drop here, a little magic potion there, and my body and mind are working perfectly. That's what a virus is. If there is a pathogen in your body, a dis-ease in your body, Santa Claus listens to the neurotransmitters, creates something that resembles what this pathogen is. The pathogen unites with this release of the virus, and then the virus takes this new addition to the nearest exit, and out it goes. That's what a virus is. It's not living. So how do we have 99.9% of the world population right now freaking out about a dead secretion that's made within you only for you? It's constructed to your physiology, not anybody else's. But it started from Chinese people eating bats in Wuhan. How dumb do you have to be? How disconnected from truth do you have to be to believe that somebody in China eating a bat is passing a dead secretion via the air, and you run the risk of dying? So again, the average person knows nothing of what a simple virus is. That's all I did. And then for the next day and a half, until I took outside access to the post away, I received nothing but death threats. Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. How do you explain 60,000 people dying from the corona? They're not. There are people dying from the common cold, but you don't die from a common cold. You die from the shitty foods you eat, the shitty thoughts you take, the shitty life you lead.
No, it's funny when you say that. I've been thinking about this recently. If you want to kiss, they'll label anybody who thinks outside the box a conspiracy theorist, right? So, what's quite funny to me is, like, why do these people hate conspiracy theorists that much, right? Like, in the sense of, they're not your enemy. I know there's some disinformation agents and some nutcases and whatnot. I've been in there. But I'm like, this is someone who's done a lot of research to try and say, hey, do you know that shit's not as cool as it could be? And you're getting fucked in the ass. And then they go, why don't you fuck off, mate? You're like, what? This guy's trying to help you. Trying to give you some. He's actually committed his life to going through the boring, laborious task of finding out who actually runs this fucking big system. Say you worked out the pharmaceutical system and who runs it all, and who's connected, and what agendas they have. And did you know all this? No, you didn't know all this because you were watching Netflix and chill and going to yoga and having lunch with your girlfriend. And now some bloke who's done it has gone, hey, maybe you're getting fucked up the arse, and they go, fuck off, mate. I'm like, but you should be grateful, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah, like what kind of mind control is that? Do you have an opinion on that, Josh? In the sense of just it's almost like a self-destructive reaction.
Yeah, they've been programmed from the whole journey from the media and everything to have pure cognitive dissonance and pure hatred for the truth. So people don't know that, but within inside their beingness, there is something that really repels the truth. So whenever they get it, they get that thing called cognitive dissonance, which just allows their being to shut off and get angry, or the emotions flood within, because once their truth has been contradicted by something that seems plausible and they have no time for thought or no information from it, they only turn to the original source, which is their mind control, which just makes their being completely shake with fear, anger, anxiety, everything, and then you end up with the brunt of it. But this is the whole, if someone's ready to hear, they're going to be heard. And I think, in the path of my awakening and my big journey is from a very young boy, I've always tried to help people on a personal level. And in doing so, I've seen, if I do it too much, they repel you, and then you can fall out with people close as your family just because it was the truth. But what you must do is not hold yourself back and express yourself honestly, because if you do hold yourself back, then unfortunately you might miss your time to finish the cycle of samsara, which is the birth, life, and death here.
Man, totally. I agree with you entirely. Like some comedians sometimes ask me, because they wonder, when you do a comedy like mine, some people think it's controversial. So you get some young acts who think, oh, you go up there to offend the audience, do you? I'm like, no. Never gone up there to offend the audience. Right?
Wake them up.
All I simply do is what I want to do. Right. So some comedians, because they get caught in I think I was lucky I came through thrash metal world, because that kind of world is just, well, we're going to write songs about this and they're going to be ugly and horrible and that, and well, no one will like them. I don't care. Right. And so I just do it.
Yeah.
And so that's what I meant. So it's never been hard for me to actually just say what I want to say. I thought that's what you just did as an artist. Isn't that what you do?
That's what you're supposed to do. Every time you hold yourself back, you create yourself another demon to overcome, because you aren't expressing yourself honestly. So if you do hold yourself back, you're only allowing something for yourself to work out with. So, your persona is acting in front of you trying to please people. And in a sense, one, you're holding yourself back energetically. Two, you're creating thoughts within yourself that you're thinking, oh, I shouldn't have done this. I wish I did this. So it's just something that you really genuinely need to overcome.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah, the journey of man.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people, and from a young age, just was kind of like that. I was talking to my brother the other day. We different people, but we got a very similar something about us. He doesn't even do research like this, but he just knows.
Yeah.
Right. He's just kind of like me. He's never fallen for, ever since from a young age. I was talking to a guy today. I could never work out, even at school, I could never work out, why is the strong, good-looking guy who's got the girls and that picking on this kid with a club foot and a weird eye? Like, aren't you already having a good time, mate? Why are you picking on this kid? And I'd hang around this kid. Why? He's a good guy, mate. Nice guy. Yeah, but isn't he the dickhead? I don't give a fuck. I've been lucky. I've never had that kind of. In fact, I used to question everything. Surely you can't all like rugby league. I mean, because there's me. How come everyone in the school likes it except me and these three kids?
It's the least path of resistance, my friend.
So it's like, but I find going in there harder.
Yeah.
Like joining the group, if I go, oh great, I'll try and curb my comedy so I can get some more career moves and I can't go in there. I can't go in there. I can't. That will drive me fucking insane.
I can relate to that as well from being a young. Never conformed. I never did anything that anybody else did, and if there was something they were doing that was a part of the system, it was just definitely no from me. I wouldn't be joining in. I wouldn't be having a Facebook. I wouldn't be going out clubbing. I would be taking that different path,
Oh, I know what you mean. In my 90s, I remember I was sitting at home reading books on non-dualism and shamanism. Well,
yeah.
and then I remember New Year's Eve, once I just sat home and read books like that, and then no one was there, I was by myself, and then as it turned midnight, I just sat there by myself and went, Happy New Year, Steve.
Yeah.
Just that kind of. I'm not interested.
Yeah, we can all
I like
relate to that.
Yeah. I like a party. You know, I'm not a fucking perfect guy that's come down here like some god that's worked. But I'm like, no, I just don't. It's hard for me in that world.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah,
For
it's
me.
always hard being alone, you know. But truly, when you're alone, the word says it. You're all one,
Yeah.
you know. And it's a
Yeah.
good place to be. It's a good space to be quiet and still, and you can find those things and work out your own thoughts. And then, you know, if you can make judgment and then you can go within what you truly want, then that's fine because you're doing what your nature is. That's key.
Yeah. It's totally.
Yeah, and that's a great point, Josh, because there are so many people that will literally tell you that they're terrified of being alone. And the reason being, well, I don't even think that they're really cognizant of it at all. But the reason that they're terrified is because they've never done it. And we fear the things that we simply don't know. And although the alternative to that is absolute insane chaos, it's the devil I know. Better the devil you know, right? And it's just all a form of conformity. So people say that they're terrified of being all one, alone. The fact is, when you do, when you have that experience that Steve just talked about, and you go, wow, Happy New Year. I'm enjoying this. I'm in a beautiful spot, and it's just me in this book and God in this moment. And hey, Happy New Year, Steve. Well done. And when you have these moments, they really begin to define you. And if you never have those moments, then you're not finding definition in your life. And if you don't have any form, that's what Steve was talking about before, but you know, your thoughts have to have something to latch onto. If there's no basis of truth within you, and you come across a little nugget that you think sounds interesting, but there's no basis for it, there's no place to throw your lasso. There's nothing to cling on to, and it kind of just falls by the wayside. You forget it, and you just going back to being the fool. And that's what's so necessary, is to have these moments, to feel some pain, to then go, hey, maybe I need to try something different other than what they're telling me. And then you have these new experiences. And then through these experiences, you begin to define yourself, which is something that they don't want. They don't want you knowing yourself. That's selfish. My goodness, everything's for the greater good, the greater good, the greater good. Have you guys seen a really, really brilliant movie called Hot Fuzz? It's okay, yeah. So
That's Simon Pegg.
it is Simon Pegg. Edgar Wright is his friend and director, and Edgar Wright directs these films. They write them together, and that entire movie, again, boy, you talk about a world of belief or gnosis, knowing something or believing something. Most people who've seen that movie and like it just think that it is a very, very, fun-loving comedy. Little action for those British folks and those bobbies. Bobbies get a little action there, drive a car and get on a horse and get a little action in your British flick instead of just being so bloody cerebral all the time. And people don't even know that whole movie. That whole movie is an allegorical masterpiece. It is dissecting the Freemason and our Freemason-dominated culture, organized society to a T. There isn't a single scene. There's not a single name. There's not a single number that doesn't have a powerful meaning to the upside down reality of our world. So first thing you notice in that movie, everybody in the movie within that town, they all have names that end with her. So it's Mr. Thrash Her and Reap Her. And all of these names are talking about what we do to the sacred feminine, to what we do to Mother Earth. We are carnivores. We take, and we're reaping her. Everything, thrash her. And, the Reverend was kill her. And of course, that was a beautiful, beautiful name for the Reverend as well. And that's what we carnivores of the physical form, the letter F, the number 6, but it's the fallen 6 wearing the crown of Kronos instead of the exalted single eye wearing the crown of meditation, the 7th chakra. We're upside down, and that movie is, and I'm going to do an entire 2-hour show on it because it's absolute genius, and it's telling you that you are a child of God. And that's why it's Sergeant who became, they wanted him to become constable, but it's Sergeant Nicholas Angel who got stabbed by Santa Claus. And his police number is 777. And again, the entire movie is, like I say, an allegorical masterpiece telling you the truth in plain sight. But if you are Persephone, if you wear a mask and you have no shred of truth or foundation for truth inside of you, you'll watch it, a little bit of action, a few little sexy jokes, and it was a good flick. I remember that. Or it's a masterpiece, but you didn't see it, and it was there in plain sight. And that is the problem with the coronavirus and in the entire world running from a deadly contagion, an airborne contagion. A virus is dead. How does a dead secretion within you become airborne and contagious? Well, we haven't worked that part out of it yet, Charlie, but I'm telling you, we're working on it right now. We've got some top people working on it.
I'll tell you what's funny. I thought it the other day, like, I've been on this planet for 53 years, and since I was born, they've been going, in those voices they do on TV, could you send us money for cancer? Cancer can affect anybody. Please send money now so we can fix cancer. And I'm sitting there, well, after 53 years, you've brought me nothing. Right? Nothing. You haven't come up with anything except radiation and nothing else. Yet you keep asking me for cash. But I figure that, well, if I had a plumber around and for 50 years I've been asking to fix my toilet, and then after 50 years it still didn't flush, I'd start to think maybe we should look at something else.
I don't trust it again. The thing is, with the cancer research, the directors are getting bonuses of like £23 million each year, and all the other ones. That's crazy.
Yeah. And then, but after all that, which no one will take any notice of, suddenly they'll go, the zombie virus we've been telling you about? Yep, we fixed it.
Yep.
Done.
How long? 4 weeks. And you know what I thought then they'll do, without even mentioning it in these words, but they'll process the idea to everyone, is they'll go, see how the scientists, the new gods, have got rid of the plague, where in the old days it was the gods that made the plagues, remember? And now we've got the new gods, the scientists.
Right. Yeah. Steve,
they stop the plagues.
Yeah, exactly. So here's the brilliance of what Steve's saying is that there's no virus, but because you own the mainstream media, and that's where everybody goes for their news, for their information, that's where they run to. Because if it's on the mainstream and everybody's aping it, ABC, NBC, CBS, CNN, all of these different acronyms, they're all aping the same message. Got to be the truth, right? I mean,
what was Josh think about this? Sorry to interrupt, but talking about people watching this stuff, do you think all this propaganda that, because sometimes I'm watching, say when the Iraq war started and Dick Cheney comes on the TV, right? I just know that guy's no good.
Yes, exactly.
Right, I just know, right? Which part of as this stuff, do you think this stuff, I think it's shutting down people's intuition and self-preservation.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because don't you get a vibe anymore? Like if you're at a party and you go, I don't like that guy,
Yeah, that's the self instantly trying to present itself to you, and then thoughts come into play, and then the thought will always override that if you're not connected to the higher self. So most people's persona that they've been accumulated by the ideas, information that they've seen will present logic to them in their mind, and they'll say, well, it can't be because it wouldn't happen, because why would they do it, for one? And two, look at the good they do. They're trying to help us. They do this, they do that. And, you know, they create the problem, they create the solution. But the true solution is soul, you, T ions. Soul, you, physical ions. Your physical ions need to return back to the soul. And that's why the word lost is LOST, because the T is the physical and soul is backwards. So the lost in reverse would be the physical soul. So the lost man needs to find his physical soul. And this is why you live in a capital city, because they've capped it all. And you have capabilities which are capped abilities. And you, my brother, are the impossible that's I'm possible. And you are limitless. This is it. We're all limitless. And we've just had capped abilities by food, thoughts.
Big time.
You
That's
know?
the part I don't understand. I do now, because you explain it to me. But when you try to explain, I used to have sort of science mates who would argue with all the time. And I'm just like, but what I'm telling you, say you could heal yourself with your mind, right? They go, fuck off, Steve. But why wouldn't you want this to be true?
Exactly.
They wouldn't even question it to you, would they? They just get angry at you.
Yeah, they get angry, right? And I think, but why wouldn't you go, really? Yeah.
Yeah. I'm your
And then
friend.
you maybe won't be dependent like a sucker fish on this big fucking beast system.
Yeah.
So
But
I'm
the
telling you
beast
that maybe you're an amazing creature that's you're in a universe. Like, which bit of you thinks no, I wouldn't want that. I'd prefer to go to the doctor.
where they treat you. They treat your mind. And brother, I don't know if you know that. I don't know if you heard our last week chat, but I did say this on the last week one. If you just look at the etymology of diabetes, for example, it's written in Latin, yeah, but it translates as through idiocy. So if you look at the word diabetes in its etymological form, it means through idiocy. So they're telling you when you go and you get labeled a diabetic that you're an idiot because you don't know how to eat. You know, this is the fundamental basis to your existence of reaccumulating the cells within your body, food, and food is FOOD. The two O's represent site, D is for, which is form, and F is 6, which is the matter. So the matter needs to look at its form via the food. This is why healthy spells heal die. And you must eat fruit because it's for you, it. And amino acids, amino acid, and we know that acid causes disease.
There you go.
And this is why cancer research gives you the duality, because on their posters and etc., they're giving you the two-sided duality or the double-headed coin where they say, you know, cancer research, together we're saving lives, or research is saving lives. What they're telling you is you need to do your own work, because cancer, you need to see the answer, and the answer's within you, and it's your own search. There's a business out there that's funding itself and having wonderful time off people's ignorance because they don't seek, but the answer will always lie within you, and you shall seek it. It's the food that you're consuming that's creating the candida within the body. The candida is being fed by sugar, and sugar is 10 times more addictive than crack. And then yeast that they give you in bread, which should be unleavened with no yeast, is cancer, which is candida, and candida is foot rot, is everything to do with any ailment within the body. It's pretty simple, you know. It's a very simple thing.
Total foot rot. I used to get that foot. That's another element of me having a breakdown, was my gut. Because I used to get the foot rot, but I thought it was from steam rooms. But I didn't know that my gut was falling apart.
Okay.
So
is it better now?
Oh, yeah. My right foot still gets it now and then, and that's when I know I've been eating sugar.
Okay, so you need to just put bicarb on it. Have you ever put bicarb on your foot when you have it?
No.
So if you put bicarbonate soda on it, it's antifungal, so it will instantaneously soothe it, and then maybe within 2 to 3 days you'll start seeing it degrade. And if someone has
it'll come and go, but it's funny when it's good though, even though I can see it, it's good though when you know information about your body, you know how it's working, and you go, oh, look at that, I put the sugar into it, and look what the foot did. It went, no, don't do that.
Yeah.
Exactly, guys. That's what the left brain is always doing. The ego is, because the ego exists off of the candida. It grows. It's a tapeworm. The tapeworm is living inside of you, and it feeds off of acid because it's the opposite of goodliness and godliness. Godliness and goodliness is alkalinity. And again, the best example, I mean, honestly, from science itself, is the litmus paper, right? And then nobody can't argue with this because it's science. So all you science people out there, you can't argue with what I'm about to share with you. Look at the litmus paper. Litmus paper goes from 0 to 14. Basically, in the middle, 7, which is what they're telling us that we need to be, balance. Oh my goodness, isn't that what Josh was saying about the letter K, the master number 11, 11, 22, 33, the master numbers, father, mother, child. And 11, the two temples. So within the two temples, we need to seek that balance between two worlds. We need harmony. So litmus paper tells you the answer, because the green plane, you see a nice flat plane of inertia, the flat earth, green, right in the center, 7, is what we need to be. And that's perfect balance between 0 and 14. Now, this is no word of lie. Take a look at litmus paper. When you eat foods that are alkaline, when you take alkaline thoughts or take no thought and just go into meditation, that's generating alkaline substances within you, secretions within you. And when you are alkaline, alkalinity, by the way, is, fruits and vegetables in particular, just pure fruit. And when you look at this, you go, it rises. Oh my goodness. Now this is kind of interesting, isn't it, folks? Hey, this is like not science. It's just magic. It's just wizardry, dark magic or something. But when you apply an alkaline substance to litmus paper, it rises. It rises up towards the sky. Now, let's take a look at litmus paper. As you rise from the green center flat earth, you go up into blue, the blue sky, heaven upon earth. And if you continue to ascend litmus paper and you get into those numbers, 9, 10, all the way up to 14, it's purple. What do we know about the color purple? That's the color of your 7th chakra. That's
the light of your pool. P, you're a pool, the light of your pool. P is light, you are, your, and PLE is pool. So it's the light of your pool. This is the purple.
Yeah, and of course, that's the crown at the top of litmus paper. Now, let's take a look at the opposite side of litmus paper. If you want to go below the earth, what's below the earth? Well, that's where we chuck dead bodies. That's where we chuck dead things, and they all decompose. There's worms in there and maggots, and it's just rocks and stuff. And when you dig into the earth, by the way, what do you see? You see red rocks, some red soil. It's red, blue, heaven above, sky, blue, heaven above, red rocks, red earth, hell below, hell. And when you look at litmus paper, the further you go down, the redder it becomes, until at the bottom of litmus paper, you get down to 1. It's just blood red, people. What takes you down? So if you apply a substance that comes from meat, dairy, and or eggs, guess what happens to your litmus paper? It's going down. You're going down, boy, to the color red. I'm not making this up. This is what literally happens when you ingest acidic food. So in life, you have a choice. You can be alkaline or you can be acidic. And it takes us back to the beginning of the podcast where I was discussing this great cognitive dissonance that people are struggling with. You're sold the lie from modern science that you evolved from apes. And most people just lap it up. Unbelievable, just incredible, but they lap it up. So you're a monkey. What are monkeys? They're frugivores. And they eat fruit. And then you evolved from monkey, so you're basically a human monkey. But what do you eat? You eat what lions and tigers, carnivores, with these giant mouths, and there's no shear with their mouths. They just rip and tear, and they have big tongues to lap up blood, because that's what they do. They just lap up the blood. They're not really overly interested in the flesh. It's that blood and some organs that they want, because the organs are filled with blood. Red. And every time you follow this procedure of following acid, it's red, and red leads you into the ground. It's going to put you dead. And if you have what is alkaline, it leads you into the blue, into heaven. You can eventually wear a crown from the choices you make. So once again, what are the foods that make you alkaline? Fruits, vegetables, perhaps some seeds and nuts. And what are the foods that make you horrifically, and I mean horrifically, 3.5, 4 on the acidic scale? Foods that make you horribly acid: meat, dairy, eggs, Coca-Cola, processed sugar, all processed foods, and you cook your food. That's right, convenient foods, and then you cook your foods because we're all taught to cook our foods. God forsake, we just eat something raw. No, it has to be cooked for some bizarre reason. We cook our food. Guess what it does? It can take a perfectly alkaline food and it can turn it acidic. And you fry it up with oil, heavily acidic, and it just drives any alkalinity right out of it. And all you're doing is acid. And look at a commercial on TV. If it isn't because you can't get a boner, and you can't get a boner because you got candida everywhere in your body, and your little limp dick is not going anywhere because it's a
little
flaccid
lollipop.
Flaccid acid. Flaccid acid. It ain't going anywhere. But if you want it to rise, if you want that little sugar lollipop to rise, then that's alkalinity. Eat some fruit. I could maybe do that. No. Just take this pill and keep eating that meat, dairy, and eggs. Yeah. And who funds all of the cancer agents? Oh, meat, dairy, and egg industry. They're all one. They're all one group. Big business. And we're the suckers. Why? Because there's no truth. No truth, just beliefs. So I'm going to pass it back over to you guys. But it just takes us back holistically. No truth, only beliefs. This is what you get, folks.
True that. I just wanted to say that 7 on the pH scale, the word itself is S even, which is the sine wave even, which is the balanced sine wave where you should be. The alkaline is the O, K, aligning the K, which is the L even again, which is the balance. So if you look at the K itself, when you were saying earlier about the angle coming from the right, if you actually turn it left on a 90-degree angle, you'll see a masculine line and then the V balancing in the middle of it perfectly, the feminine V, the mastered number. V is 22. If you look at the V, it's actually the 11 and the bottom end of it touching to be mastered. So the two energies have been mastered to create the V. pH scale is P is light and H is vibration. So it's the light vibration that's within you. The redshift is rightfully establishing RE, and D is form. So to be redshift is to rightfully establish your form again, to be recycled here. And to be the blue shift is to be luminescence, which is the light. The luminescent light that's within us and within our rainbow bodies that we all have the chance to attain atonement. Atonement is at one ment, at one mind, which we all are and are connected to. But whether or not we are receptive and have perception, inception, to not get deception here in this realm, we can set ourselves free. And the word free is F-R-E-E, which is matter rightfully establishing to the ether. And ether is the key.
There you go, in a nutshell.
Yeah.
Anyway, I've got to go and watch the news.
Oh.
Because I haven't seen enough pictures of blokes in biohazard suits today.
Steve, with your comedy tour that was all set, is this going to be? Are you going to call it a postponement? And
well, it's been postponed until sort of another year. But what are we doing? We're living in this kind of. They've created this invisible enemy that has no ending.
That's right.
Until someone decides to go, oh yeah, we've got the cure, and now we've let a paedophile computer geek be in charge of global health. Like, what?
Yeah, that's right. Bill and Melinda Gates.
How does no one see this? When did Bill fucking Gates be allowed to step up on a soapbox in front of the whole planet and go, hey, listen to me?
I think it's because every country is a registered business, and business is the devil, apparently, in the Lego movie, which is El Ego. And what we're doing is we're actually looking at people in this position of power, which is just a tool of media via the corporations, and we haven't threw out the money changers, and that's all we need to do, and collaborate with each other. And how I've said before, probably last time I said it was maybe a year ago, but if we have 10 friends or 10 family members, and we live on a street and we're not living next door to our family or friends, we mostly don't like our neighbours. But an average property in the UK is probably worth around 250,000. Now, if you can just get 10 of your people, 10 of your friends together and sell your proper ties, then you have approximately £2.5 million. So all you'd need to do is go and buy some land somewhere and then
plant some trees, because trees with fruit on reciprocate and give you fruit every season, and you can live off this healthy and holistically. It costs no money, and there's your freedom. But if you want to go one step further, every contract that you create is not actually yours and can be taken from you if you don't pay for taxes. Land is out there free for claiming for anybody that's actually broken the matrix and the constraints within the mind, and you are very welcome to the land that's out there. You just got to understand that your name is Na-Me, and it's not you, and you are a being divine sent here from God, and you are not a persona.
Exactly.
Or a person. You know, person is actually corporate, or means a corporation via law, you know, legalese.
Big time.
Yeah.
Big time. All this stuff.
Very simple.
And it's all, that's what I mean. It's all the stuff over 20 years. You hear that, you get this, you get that, you know it. And as I said, now it is interesting that we're with these people and you go, you know nothing. But I think we're at a time, though, because if they haven't done 20 years of research, though, I don't get all ego about it. I think if we can just get them to go, well, a lot of blokes and women, men and women, have done the hard work for you. Now just listen, you know, you don't have to work out.
The houses have already been built.
Yeah.
Why are we still paying for them?
But you realise, you know, I thought about, especially growing up in Australia, where I knew Aboriginals are very cosmic people. And, like, I just never understood why I have to buy land off someone. Like, aren't I going to die one day in the physical form, and so therefore then someone else can have it?
Yeah. And who owned the land?
The what? Sorry,
I said, who owned the land in the first place?
That's what I used to go. That's what I used to say. Go, who? When they go, here's this land's $100,000. I go, well, where'd you get it from, mate? Oh, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Well, the basic tenet of our system is possession is 9/10 of the law, and all of these peoples of the land have therefore owned all of this forever, and they have the proof because they were here first. It's like saying Columbus discovered America. Really? Columbus came over and discovered 100 million people working in perfect harmony with one another, and far advanced of where we are, because they all had pyramids and they were levitating on the air. But Columbus discovered it and began the process of saving these people. Sorry, what?
He discovered contracts.
Yeah. Lots of them.
Yeah.
Tons of lawyers, lots of quills. Get your quill.
Right, and you know, and that's a great point, Steve, because all of this false authority and the maritime admiralty laws all comes from the See of Rome, and it all comes from this fake religion.
Oh yeah, big time.
Design,
I think in that system, of course, you know, I listened to this guy once on YouTube when I was going through this big dark night of the soul thing, and I can never find the guy again. He was a Christian guy, but not like your average just Christian guy, a guy that understood deep stuff. And I can never find him again. I can't remember exactly what he said, but he said one thing that just, I kind of knew, but he put it into words that was stunning to me. And I was like, it's like owning land and people going, oh, the world's overpopulated, and no one ever questioning, who told you that? Right? And how would you fix that, being overpopulated, right? But what are you talking about? You're on an earth that just constantly puts food out for you, and there's water there. It's moving and constantly just here it is, and you're part of it. So why do you think there's too many people here? And if you were going to fix this, what would you do? What, you're going to stop having sex for 10 years, everyone, and then there's a big gap in the age group? Right, and how would you do that? Because surely life is just moving and giving birth and recreating itself. Do you really think that you could stop nature like that? We'll just stop fucking or having kids for 10 years. What? Or you go, well, let's kill half of them. And I'm sitting there going, like, don't you people understand that the whole thing keeps you've got to reach this evolutionary spiritual step where it's, I don't think it's a utopia, like in the sense of, oh, we're la la land, but like, understand more of your fucking nature.
Basics.
Yeah.
That's the difference between the earth and the world, because the world is overpopulated, but the earth isn't. The world being
Yeah, corporate, you know.
That's a great way to put it. I've never thought. Yeah, it is. And especially if you're living in the world, then you'll believe the world's overpopulated.
Of course,
That's
because
right.
you live in the city, which is busyness, and everybody's built on top of each other, so it has that illusion.
Yeah,
But you just go on a plane, or you drive the countryside, and it's just land and boxed off for animals to be tortured. You know.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's just brilliant, guys. And you take an airplane out of Mexico City, 25 million people, and they've just got them houses going up the hillside. And you just look at that and you just say, oh, wow, yeah, boy, if there was ever a poster for too many people on the earth, this is it. But you get in an airplane and you climb out of Mexico City, every single direction. It is gorgeous green land as far as the eye can see in every single direction. So what's the truth? Well, if you have beliefs, which is built on the word lie, then you have an existence of lies, and that is your reality. And if you question your reality, well, there are no guarantees, but that's the stepping stones that are going to lead you on this path, the path that is straight, the path that is narrow, and that it constantly leads you further, higher and higher and higher to the light. And I'll just leave you guys with this thought with regard to understanding, like Josh has done a brilliant job today on the etymology of all of our language.
Mate, I love it.
You need to understand these words are holistic in their creation as well. So the light, everybody just thinks light is bright as opposed to darkness. So light bright, because it's not darkness. Okay, but if something is light, it's not heavy. And if it's not heavy, then what does the light do? It rises. And so if you fill yourself with light and you are bright, then you begin to rise out of sight as high as a kite, and then you become, full of this great light. This is our reality. Fill yourself up with your choice. It's going to be light or darkness. It's going to be on or off. It's going to be one of these polarities, and you get to choose because you're gifted free will. And if you listen to them, well, you evolved from a monkey, and everything happened. All of this came out of nothing randomly versus, wow, this is incredible. And it's all connected to one another. And the systems are so subtle, are so brilliantly subtle and connected with everything. This is elegant design. And so there you go. You once again have a choice between elegant design of a creator who made you in his own image and you are strong and powerful and wise beyond description, or you're a monkey trying to be trying to be a carnivore. You're a monkey trying to be a tiger.
Welcome to Babylon.
The monkey thing always made me laugh growing up. Just what?
Where are the half monkey men still?
And then when they show those things like, and then you were actually fish, but some fish eventually went, I've got some legs now, mate, and I'm going to go out there and become a lizard.
Yeah.
What?
That's
what?
Never happened.
It's just incredible.
How come I've never seen a fossil of the half lizard fish?
Unbelievable.
You keep saying it takes millions and millions of years for these things in the David Attenborough. Millions of years. It slowly evolves. Okay, well, where's the fucking lizard fish or the bird pig? Like,
Exactly.
The truth will always be hidden in plain sight, and I'm sure as forms of awareness, our awareness was possibly having an experience via these forms, but there's no possible transformation between any type of being. They're all set structures of vibration. A monkey will be a monkey, otherwise there'd be half monkey men walking around right now transforming, etc., etc. But again, like I was saying, this is Babylon, and Babylon is to be able on. And we don't want Cain to win. We must let Abel find itself to the right. And this is what Babylon is. It's the choice world. It's the choice realm. We are in duality, and we need to make the righteous choice every time.
Beautiful, beautiful, Josh. And that we're at the full 2 hours here, so we're just going to have to quickly sign off here. But I wanted to say, again, this takes us, Josh's words take us all the way back to where we started. And again, the word coronavirus is powerfully, carefully chosen by whomever chose it, because it's a choice. And you can be non-virtuous, sinful out of the left brain, the Canaanites, or you can be able. And I'll tell you something, this is what the Bible speaks to in every single passage, Old, New Testament, Bhagavad Gita, it's all the same. Man is always understood as resurrected man. That's what the Holy Trinity is, mother, father, child. It's not creating a child. Everything was already created. It's resurrection. It's resurrecting the child. Abel may have been killed temporarily by the Canaanites, by Cain, but you can't keep a good man down. Never, ever, ever, because a good man that's filled with light will always rise, because that's what light is. It's rising up to the heavens, and always light will win. And in this struggle that's going on right now with all of these adrenochrome junkies within the entertainment world, putting videos out screaming for my adrenochrome, basically they're all saying, Madonna, fried fish, that it's horrific beyond description. Fried fish is a child that they take to the very doorstep of death via torture. Then they skin the child while it's still alive, harvest the adrenal glands and the pineal gland, and create this magenta colored substance, which is supposed to be the very center eye that's now illuminated within the purple crown. The magenta 144,000 petaled lotus in the center of the purple crown is Christ Jesus, is Krishna, is Buddha, is Zarathustra, is Mohammed. These are the ascended masters who came before us, and you do this peacefully by going within yourself. What does the Canaanites do, who were kicked out of the Holy Land? What did Pete Townsend from The Who say in the song The Naked Eye? Push any button, milk and honey flows. When you're in your right brain, doesn't matter which button you push, milk and honey flows. The life force of God flows within you when you go to the right, go up and to the right, go to your right brain. That's to be able. Ablers are to be able to do something. Canaanites can't. Abel do, Cain can't. Cain kills because he can't ascend. And that's where we're at in this world. So we're going to leave you folks with this and this gnosis that, like Steve said, you have got to allow yourself to feel the pain and discomfort of being lied to from your born day. We get it because it all happened to us as well. No one here is trying to tell you that we're geniuses or better than you are. No, the only difference is that we chose to feel the pain, go something's wrong, and to wake up. That's all it takes. And each one of you are brilliant, perfect creations of the Creator. Be that, live that, know that. Stop being a victim to a system of lies. Bill and Melinda Gates are the devil incarnate because they are Canaanites of the left brain. Don't listen to pieces of dung like that. Go within, because I guarantee you, when you go within, there's only one voice. And that is the voice of the Creator. And whatever you want to call that, or however you want to see that, is up to you. It's totally fine. Connect with that voice and you'll hear what that voice has to say. And it is upside down from what you're being told in the news.
You know what I sometimes think as well, if you're trying to get people to wake up? So I sometimes tell them, because if I think I have to battle their ego, because to destroy someone's belief system, or at least have them start to question it, especially if they're older, they may just not want to face the fact that their whole life has been a sham.
Yep.
Right. So that could be hard for them, and so the defense mechanism comes up and the fucking stuff like this. But then I think to myself, I try and tell them, don't listen to your ego and understand that you've been duped by geniuses.
Yes.
And demons. You haven't been duped by your dumb mate Barry. Been duped by groups of people and stuff which have thousands of years of expertise in metaphysics, sorcery, archetypes, psychiatry, psychology. Now they've got your food and everything. This is So shut your ego up, just get fuck. I've been lied to, and just get on with it.
Brilliant. Brilliant, Steve.
Just get on with it. Fuck the part that goes, oh, I can't believe I did. Well, just get over it.
Or the samsara wheel is going to suck you up, and around you go again and again and again and again.
Yeah, because your beliefs, as we just talked about on this thing, don't hold on to these silly beliefs. Don't worry about them. Just, I'm not saying just become a la. I got duped. Okay, what do I do now? Because you're running out of time. So yeah, use me, and then I built a phone. I just sat there because I grew up in the Blue Mountains. So I thought, right, well, I'm going to get dirt, smoke, ash, air, wood, sun, all into me.
Beautiful.
So that even if my body, my immune system that got healthy growing up in the 70s in the bush, because I'd go camping and sleep in caves and sit around fires, and just, I took that for granted, didn't know how much strength I got out of that nature. And I thought, well, even if my body's forgotten, I'll go back and trigger its memory. You know what I mean? Just get the ash and smoke and the dirt and the earth and just go, yeah, get that into you. And then also don't think about, I realize that's why I haven't watched the news. I haven't watched it once for fucking 5 minutes, because I go, I'm not having any of your stuff come into me.
That's right.
I'm not listening to you. There's nothing in there that says anything I need to know. Nothing. So that's one hump people have to get over. Maybe there's a bit of, no. As soon as they went, there's a Chinaman, ate a bat, and now the world's shut. There you go. It's bullshit. Don't listen.
But the earth is not shut. The world is. We must remember this.
Yeah. That's good. That's a good point. I like. And I thought to myself, and don't think about, even though you've got to be rational and responsible and think with clarity about what this the darkness could turn if these people get their fucking way. But I thought to myself also, don't focus on it and live and think about what this could be if we go through the transformation. And you have that idea in it, because as you line up with your mask to go to the shop, I think what you've done now is they've got you playing the theater. Now they've manifested that as a reality. So you don't. That's why I don't try. I try and use cash wherever I go. Why? Isn't it easy just to bip your card? I don't want to join in and help manifest the reality.
Brilliant.
Right. So you try and hold on. I didn't have a computer until 2002 or something. Like not even then. It was like later. It was like 2010. And because I get don't and see, but now you've lined up. Now you're all lining up, and now you're just now you're playing the theater. You're an actor in the play now, and now the play is real.
And that's what Shakespeare wrote. That particular that whole play is speaking specifically to that. When you buy into a system that is falsely constructed with the hands of man for you, then you just become a mask wearer and you endlessly play this game. And you go around and around the samsara. And again, I just highly recommend, Colleen and I are going to do this with hopefully Josh in a separate podcast, but the movie Groundhog Day is genius. It's just like Hot Fuzz.
I have to watch it there because it was on twice this week on the movie channel. You know what else was on the fucking movie channel this week? Every single thing that's got to do with what's going on. the remake of The Day the Earth Stood Still, so Keanu Reeves can tell you that you're the problem. You're a virus, basically. The Earth's got to be saved from the evil humans. The Hunger Games was on. Elysium was on. Contagion was on. I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ. Sorry, but you know what I mean.
Oh, absolutely.
It's almost like they're putting it on in front of you, going, "Are you watching?"
Yeah,
because we're showing you.
Yeah, and at the end of all of this, folks, again, why do these sick people harvest adrenochrome from our precious children? Why? Because they will not do what we must do naturally, and that's to exalt the sacred feminine. The letter R, the number 18, Q, the whole Q phenomenon is very real. It's all beautiful symbology. 17, 18, these are powerfully important numbers, Q and R, because they lead to S, to the T, the crucifixion, which is the U, which is catastrophe. which is exalting the V, which is the womb, to create a W, which is the penis of the one true Father in the womb of the one true Mother, the W, the penetration between perfect balance between masculine and feminine, to be able to create perfect harmony and balance X. When we have that perfect harmony and balance as the X, we transform into the cup of Christ facing the heavens, left path, right path, in union with each other. And we're reaching up to the heavens and we're saying to God, fill up my cup so it runneth over. Thy cup must runneth over. That's the letter Y. And when it does, you have the Z, Zorro, Zoroaster, the mark of Zorro, which is the perfect completion. And how many strokes does it take to create the letter Z? 1, 2, 3. And the letter Z for Zorro is the balance between the Father, the Mother, and the resurrected child. And that's Zion. The journey, the Zion. And that is the journey of man. And that is the hieroglyphics of the English language. And that's the book, by the way, everyone, that Josh and I are working on, the hieroglyphics of the English language, and it's going to free you completely, because it will tell you which words are a lie and what they're actually saying and which words are true. And you can take back your language and use only letters and words formulating powerfully truthful messages that exalt you instead of squish you like a bug into the ground. So let's thank the wonderful joshX for his genius and gnosis today.
Yes, thank you. It was an honor. I loved listening to it. Thank you.
Isn't he just amazing? Wow. And it's such a shame with Santos. But Steve, if you're going to be in London a little while longer, let's, if you're up to it, to rebook, because Santos is also a right proper genius, and he just loves.
I know.
Yeah, and he loves your work, and we can rebook because Santos always has a good connection. Don't know what happened today, so that will make for another great show. And then let's thank the amazing Steve Hughes. And you are, Steve, because like Josh said in the podcast, you're a leader. You are a leader amongst men, because you go out there and you risk everything by asking people to question the current theme, to question our current reality and maybe think deeper. So to that end, Josh, Santos, we all applaud you, Steve, for doing your work and for climbing out of the hole and for being there for all of us with your wit and your humor. It's beautiful, and we love you for it.
No worries. Thank you very much. Thank you for inviting me on. It was good.
Thank you so much, Steve. So with that, we'll say goodnight. We're a little over time. And thanks to everyone at People for People Radio. We love you too. And stay free, my friends, by going within yourself. Trust you, and you'll get along just fine. So thanks to everyone. Have a great night, and we'll see you again next Monday with Freak Sense World. Bye, everyone. Good night.
See you later.